that. I think I'm going to do it this way. That should be good for everyone. G'day everyone. Welcome to this beautiful Saturday. Hope you're having a good Friday night if you're over in England. Late Friday night? I can't remember what it is, what time is it in America, but I know it's Australia's the forerunner in the time zone. So yeah, happy weekend everyone, or Friday night. I've just woken up. So what we're going to be doing today, having a bit of fun. We've got a bit of stuff to do today, but we're also getting stuff done. So I'm just going to do a quick audio check, but we're also getting... Cool. Alrighty, so what are we going to be doing today? It's actually going to be pretty cool. So what we're going to be doing today, so actually we'll kind of take a step back and I'll kind of talk about what I've been doing for the last couple of streams, and I've kind of been taking it offline, working on this little project. It's kind of building a solution for ScriptRunner to be able to kind of marry up desired state configuration with Datum. So the concept here is to be able to have a ScriptRunner script that people can execute that can provision a new machine in Datum. But there's a kind of a catch-22 from a technical perspective there, where what happens is the Datum specific info, so this info needs to be pre-parsed. It can't be parsed and then used. So we kind of need to look at the resolution precedence and all that kind of information applies to the nodes. So within your node here, you'll have specific information to that. So that's what I've been working on recently. It's quite an interesting concept, and being able to actually also create this template file. So from a logical perspective, what needs to be done is you kind of need to be able to take the resolution precedence, then take the node move that camera a bit more. Move that camera back, there's stuff all over the floor. Take that node precedence, so that resolution precedence, and then be able to kind of take a template, which is what I have here. What's this template? And it's kind of marry the two together. So this is a node-specific template that the script will use to essentially interpolate values from the script into. So it's just basically copying it's creating from a template. One of the key things is that you don't necessarily have to do any sort of fancy work with creating new VMs. However, from a help desk or UX point of view, so actually, yeah, from that kind of point of view, you want to stick them on as much guardrails as possible, especially within the ScriptRunner kind of ecosystem. That's the whole mantra of things, is to be able to kind of create a solution for architects for help desk, to be able to kind of just run generic code without fear of breaking everything within it. So that's basically what's been happening. Oh, my camera's gone all wonky again. Hang on, let me see if I can fix this. If that fixes it. Okay, so that, I'm just going to do that. Configure video. Okay, so the exposures is all going over the place. So let's see if we can fix that up. So, geez, I think it's fixed. I think I got rid of the anti-flicker too. Yep, it's 50 Hertz that it wants. All right, cool. And now I need to fix that. Oh, damn it, I've gotten rid of the, I need to kind of put it back to NVIDIA then, because it's kind of gotten rid of me from the bottom. So let me see if I can fix that. Broken my webcam. Great. Yep, it's completely broken my webcam. Hang on, give me a sec. NVIDIA broadcast. We're going to try and fix this. Live on stream, because that is the only way we can try and fix this. Yeah, so the whole idea while we're waiting on that, the whole concept there is, geez, NVIDIA broadcast is broken. I'm just going to kill it and then I'm going to restart it. This might kill my audio. 2 secs. Is my audio still there? It looks like it is. Good. It mightn't. Let's see if we can fix this. I hope my audio is still good. Let me just quickly check. Let's see if it still works. Yep. Okay. Perfect. The only reason why I'm just checking is because it's using the NVIDIA broadcast driver. So the application doesn't necessarily need to be running for it to work. So let's see if we can fix this. So I think I'll spend the morning fixing things. If worst comes to worst, I'm just going to dump everything, and then what I can do for the moment is I'll just basically flick it back to the old webcam so we can kind of at least you guys can kind of see me, and I'll have to fix it off stream. It might need me to stop OBS, and I'm not really particularly willing to do that. And I think it's completely broken. That's okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip that webcam back like so you can see my sweet face. Just rejig that one. Cool. So I think we'll just leave it like that for the moment until I can fix my webcam, because there's something wrong with it, and NVIDIA broadcast is being very, very weird. So to make sure that it's okay, I just want to check to make sure, see what the driver is at the moment. Okay, still using NVIDIA broadcast. Okay, the AI noise suppression is still working on it. It's just basic, like, because if I clap my hands next to the mic, there's nothing. So I think that as long as it's from your side as well, I don't think there should be any sort of issue. So I'm just going to kind of leave it as is and pray that it doesn't break midstream. But please, chat, let me know if there's any issues, and I will try and endeavor to fix them. Okay, cool. All right, so have another cup of English breakfast. So what basically is going on here is that we've got that, it's essentially the template file, and that's just kind of interpolating those values. Those values in. The interesting thing is that a lot of it is just basically interpolating stuff from these statically defined parameters. It's pretty straightforward. There are essentially some overrides. So if there's an override, what that means is that it will read. So what happens is the template file gets read it gets read. So for instance, actually I can kind of show you guys this. So if, oh God, I need to initialize. Oh, that's not gonna work. Parent, and then I just need to get. I'm just kind of gonna. What I need to do here is kind of just break this out. Get child item. Don't need that. I could just go parent path. I'm just going to say private, public, The reason why it's broken is because after a couple of days ago, I kind of restructured the order of the modules, so it's kind of it's just kind of a little broken at the moment. That's okay. Oh God, VS Code sometimes just because it's null. Oh, that's because I've got it in the scripts. Whoops. Nope. Second pass fragment must be a driver or a UNC name. It's on that. See what's going on. Oh, whoops. I've got to actually do that. Whoops. Whoops the daisy. All right, let's go ahead and run that. Cool. All right, so that's now run. I need to run this one here, which hopefully I have it in there. I don't. Cool. Oh no, I do. So this basically just sets the config. This is going to change. I'm just doing it at the moment because I kind of need something in place so I can kind of get the ball rolling. So once I've done that, I can actually kick this content off. So the first two things that get run is it reads the datum configuration. So it basically reads the resolution precedence. And you can see here what it's doing is, just kind of pop this up. It goes and loads all that information from the file system. Because essentially a lot of that resolution precedence is just file system content. That's really where it's stored. So if you think of where the node template, or where the datum template contains it, it's just a representation of that directory. So what that means is that we can kind of, if you're going, for instance, through all nodes here, you can kind of see you've got all nodes, you've got values can basically be DSC file 1, web file, web 3, and that's because they're the items that exist in this directory structure. The thing with all nodes is that we actually don't use it, and that's just because all nodes is actually a statically defined item, because it actually, you can't use the data because that's the data that already exists. So, but it doesn't really matter because I just kind of wrote something that sucks everything in. So you can kind of see we've got the item name dev, test, and prod, and basically it also kind of gives you the top level parent, so you can kind of match data and match according to the resolution precedence to the file data. Like and the concept there is essentially you have to read the resolution precedence from the bottom up, and you have to read the file data from the top down, and then basically write a means to be able to connect them. And what's really, really interesting about that is that to be able to connect them, you have, for instance, while this is a very simple kind of commandlet, which is read datum configuration, if you were actually to have a look under the hood, what's actually going on here is something quite interesting, is that it's using that approach to kind of pre-parse the resolution precedence statically without having to actually invoke anything, so we can get this information out. And what's really, really cool is that, actually let's start. I'm very tired. What's that? Gear read datum configuration. Cool. So if we go and have a look at read datum configuration, you can kind of see it's, don't need that. That can get rid of things, but actually we can't keep that for the meantime. But the idea is that you read the datum configuration file, and then within that basically will give you the import, the YAML configuration that gives you the precedence, and then you can essentially resolve the datum information and the YAML information. And so, like I said, the YAML information has to be processed a little differently to the datum information. And so if you go the datum YAML, I mean resolution precedence, and datum information, I mean is file system stuff. So if you go to resolve datum item, essentially, you can kind of see here it's doing a top-down approach. So it's basically iterating just statically through like any sort of for each loop, which is really cool. So the issue is that essentially you need something to be able to match on, and the two things that you need to be able to match is the top level parent, because otherwise you're kind of stuck with a bit of a chicken and egg scenario. So you need essentially the top level parent, which is basically within the file system structure or the datum configuration. It's actually the directory here. So this is essentially the start of the datum configuration here. So you kind of need that information, and then from that you can pretty much iterate through. So through that you have you basically grab your parent and you use a depth, and that's basically how you can kind of calculate things within the structure. And then if you kind of go resolve YAML item, it's essentially the complete opposite, where hang on, let me get my bearings again. I really should just F12, but anyway, just F12. No, it is resolve YAML. So essentially, actually no, so your resolve YAML item essentially grabs that information and then sucks it all in. And then from that, yeah, so you can see in here, it's that, yeah, it kind of just sucks it in. I don't think it actually does a top down, bottom up. Is that configuration? Now I'm confused, because I'm pretty sure it was doing that. Let me just have another look. Yeah, okay, it does it. The other interesting thing is that to be able to match values, so you kind of need both pieces of data to kind of match values. And once you've kind of contained both that info, so if you've got YAML items here, YAML items kind of used to be able to match the associated data with it. So what you can do is you basically, yeah, you essentially create your object, which is, you know, the structure, and then under values there you kind of just you actually go through each of the items and then basically populate based on depth and parent. If you have that information, it'll populate, and then you can see in here you can basically go to values, and then you have the associated value within the associated YAML value for it. So it's really quite handy. It allows you to kind of do stuff then. Once that's done, then from that, essentially, you can kind of get that datum configuration, which is essentially what's represented here. Have another sip of tea. You can see here that you've actually got these values. We can kind of we can have a bit of a look, actually. We can go and have a look at one of them. You can see in here that basically it shows the file data for that specific item and gives you the actual path for it, so you can kind of work out where everything is going. So that's really cool. And you can kind of see, like, for instance, yeah, a whole bunch of other info with it as well. There's a whole bunch of other things, but that's essentially that matching info is what's really important. Anyway, so what else we'll be working on is you have to format that content and make it essentially an interesting, you have to kind of make it palatable. So what we can do here is, since we've kind of got, did I get the node template info? Yes. So the node template info essentially reads this template file. And basically what it does is it's not parsing it as YAML, it's basically doing a string, it's parsing it as a string. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is because it's faster and less intensive to kind of, it's simpler code to kind of do a string replace interpolation than it is to kind of load the file. And it's kind of, you know, there's probably going to be, there's an argument to be said that basically, you know, you can have people saying that just parse the YAML, do a lookup for the but the problem with parsing YAML and doing a lookup is that basically you have to iterate through all items, arrays, you know, and I just don't really have the time to do that. So what I wanted to do is just write something simple. So I wrote this function, and all it does is it basically goes and finds those items, finds the corresponding YAML name, and then gives it a position number, so an index number within the file. So when you load the file again, you can just go straight to that index number and then do your string replace. So you're not kind of having to do the whole shenanigans again, in terms of, like, you actually have information about what you need to do. It makes logic writing a little bit easier if you have index information about that for an array. That being said, then basically once that's gone through that, so we can kind of go ahead and format our content. Just wait for PowerShell to come in. I think I need to reinstall VS Code. It's very, very broken at the moment. You can see it's just kind of hangs a lot. Why don't you go through and config. So you can see what's happened now is that it essentially produces two, it kind of produces it kind of formats the object and gets it ready for use. So there's a couple of objects in here that we can use, and those objects essentially enable what it kind of format it even further to be able to kind of get it ready to be actually transformed into script parameters. And then following that, what you can actually do is go formatted datum config, and then we can just basically go convert to PowerShell parameter, and then it essentially dumps out a nice list of parameters with the validate set. So this is the data that basically is that datum information. So it's kind of all it really is doing is adding that information. It's kind of a long way around just to add some simple information, but I think it really helps, especially when it's doing it dynamically, so you don't have to statically set stuff. It just makes it a little bit easier for people to kind of get their implementation over the line. So that's the that's the cool part of it. So the next thing is we will kind of talk about, actually you can kind of actually go through the actually start working on the code now. So what we're going to try and aim to do today is finish the interpolation into the script. So basically what I have is the script which essentially dynamically builds the ScriptRunner script that's going to basically be able to create the machine. So the ScriptRunner action. So you can see here's a new virtual machine.template, and essentially it's just got a whole bunch of static values set. This basically will be the script that sits in the ScriptRunner, and what it's going to do is that it's just generating the parameters and the information needed dynamically, so that it'll automatically refresh, it'll refresh, kick it through, and then you can actually, it'll hopefully automatically update. If it doesn't, what we can do is we can actually just, I can write a script here to kind of use their web services to kind of force a refresh on the script. And what's really cool about that is that then basically it means that as the node datum configuration changes, as the script will change as well. So it kind of gives you that flexibility. So when someone tweaks the node configuration, it doesn't really matter because it automatically gets sucked in. So that's a really cool thing. Anyway, that all aside, just thought my daughter was going to come in, but she didn't. Okay, cool. So let's keep cracking a lacking. So let me just go ahead and close all this down, and we'll just open what we need up, and I might actually go through and disable some extensions because I've got so many installed extensions. So many installed extensions. Definitely going to need to clean this up. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to kind of clean all this up. There's a lot of extensions, and for some reason, if I paste some PowerShell, it could be just the PowerShell one's broken. Doesn't look like it's broken. Maybe I'll just uninstall this. Let's go uninstall and reinstall it. While waiting on that, we can chat. How's everyone going? Hope everyone's having a good evening or morning, afternoon. Alrighty, let's keep cracking on. Okay, so what we're going to do, actually, first things we're going to do is run this code again. Hopefully that can run perfectly fine. Yep, that's fine. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm just going to go to my untitled. I'm just going to kind of run that. I ran initialize. So frustrating when this happens. Okay, cool. All right, so the thing that we need to work on is this script here. So it's essentially doing what we kind of just did before. It's sucking in all that data and it's basically building parameters out. So we're basically starting to do the interpolation in here. So what we also need to do is replace, just kind of start fixing this. So what we need to do is interpolate the parameters into the script. Then we're going to need to interpolate. See, we've kind of got to think about what we need to put in this script. So if we jump over here and go to the script template, we're going to be also finishing this today too. We need to have the node file path. So that's the path where the node, YAML node is going to go. So, excuse me. So what we're going to need to, and then we also need the template file configuration path. The node template file configuration path. That's the node template configuration. It's not the node template file configuration, it's the node template configuration. So I'm just going to quickly go node template file configuration. And we're going to replace that with that. So now we need to essentially establish where the node is going to go. So we kind of need to start figuring out that resolution precedence again. So what we can actually do here is within here we can kind of figure out. So the logic here, if we kind of go and have a look at the Datum file, you can see here that basically we're just looking at all nodes. So we need to have the environment variable and the node and the node name. So those two things essentially is what's going to need to be interpolated. Fun thing is that we can actually just go and grab that info and then basically statically move it in. So how we're going to do that? Well, let's see if we already have that information in here and whether we can just kind of do a transform or do we need to actually kind of format something. So let's quickly skedaddle back into our untitled and just kind of rerun this logic here. So if we go to Datum configuration, we've got the item path here, so we could actually probably use this. Yeah, we could use this. So the way we can use this, we just need to be able to kind of do a string replace on that info. So we kind of need to format, like I don't really want to do a transform on the other end. It's better to do it on the source in terms of the data structure. So I'm going to basically transform, read datum configuration. And what we're going to do, just thinking out loud here. If it's no, so what we're going to do here, I'm just thinking, so I'm trying to figure out what do I want to put in there? Like I could create a separate item and then essentially like remove node, pop in a, so like remove these entries, remove the last entry because that corresponds to the file. No, we need that. So what we need to do is essentially remove that and then replace it with essentially like our own version of interpolation, like a flag for interpolation. And then we can use that as our means to be able to identify to insert that. So, okay, cool. So what we can do is let's jump into read datum configuration here. When it gets around to it. Okay, cool. So what we can do here, if we go to resolve datum item, so we've got item path. So item path is here. So it basically just takes that info. So what we can basically call this is we can basically say what should we call it? We'll call it item script path. And then what we can do here is we can basically go same kind of process where you kind of split the path, and then what we can do, actually no, item path is that. So what we can do is then we can basically say, okay, so it's formatted the temp path as so, and then what we need to do is do a replace, and it's kind of going to jump into regexer. What we're going to need to do is flag items. I'm trying to think what I need to do. So flag that, make it greedy for that. Okay, so what we need to do, sorry, I'm just kind of thinking out loud here. So I'm gonna get the first $sign and read to a dot, and then basically make it greedy. So anything in the first iteration. So that's good, but it's also because it's basically going to the second dot, but I don't want it to go to the first dot. Hang on, let me go to the other regex. So I actually don't like this one. Not this one, where is it? X. It's gonna be the same one. Where is that like the one? Actually, it's what regex 101. This is the one I like. So, oops. So what we can do is paste that. So we basically can go. I'm just trying to think. Someone knows regex. Definitely help me out, please. I really have to admit, I love this site. I love these kinds of sites. It makes life so much easier. So, 0 or 1. Okay, so I could... Okay, so what we can do is say that, so that. And then we can say any non-word character. How about any? Okay, we can basically say any word. What's the square that matches the character with the index? Oh, whoops. No, that should be. Matches any word character. Yes, that's exactly right. And then we put a dot and make it greedy. Geez, this is really not my forte. Exactly 3 or more. Just kind of capture everything in close. Cool. So that's our first capturing group. And then I can actually create a group, and we can basically say /word that. We can actually just extrapolate it out through that. So what we can actually say now, let's just chuck it in VS Code now. So what we can do here is we can just kind of paste that. We don't actually need to do, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Use a capture group. I know you can use capture groups within the replace. I just can't remember how to do it. So what we need to do, I'm just kind of thinking out loud now. So we've got, I know you can use the capture group. I'm going to have to do a quick dig. Before I do that, I'm just going to kind of do that. So the idea is, I'm just going to quickly paste that in to kind of use this as an example. Actually, let me just quickly match firstly. And then we can kind of figure out what group we're wanting to replace. So the first one is node name and environment. Interesting. I see environment, but I don't see node. So that's group 2. It's match 1, match 2. Oops, look here. Might just stick them in a capture group. Okay, so what we're wanting to do is get a capture group. Where's capture groups? Give it a capture group. Okay, it's a non-capturing group. Where's the Hello, John Myrtle. Makes sense. W is for any character that can be part of a word. Thank you. Yes. How are you? I hope you're well. Here with my chat. If someone help me out with my chat, sorry, with my figure out. I'm pretty sure that I just can't remember. I know that you can create a capture group. Captures everything to close. Yep. Or do we actually just want to do this? Do I want to just do that and then get rid of that? What's my match? How are you doing yourself? I'm getting there. In terms of very, very busy. Work's very busy, which is good. Doing lots of stuff with kind of working around with package management stuff. So that's really, really fun. And then I was just kind of mucking around with other things. So this is very interesting because it's only showing the first match, or the second match actually. It's only showing the, is it the invite? What match is it? It's only showing the first match. Actually, let me just quickly go and have a look. Yeah, that's weird. If I go regex, how are yourself, John? Doing well. So decided to tune into some PS programming while I do some myself. I might be able to help with regex. How are you doing yourself? I am very good. I've got, yeah, I think there's just kind of plowing along lately. So been working quite extensively with this solution. I've kind of just been doing it in my own time, but at the same time, last weekend was not good. The entire family was sick. The week before that, my little one was sick. So yeah, I decided to take the weekend off, and I was just like, I'm going to not do anything, and I'm just going to kind of just be sick, which was all right. And then, yeah, so kind of just getting through it. So, such is life, but it's good. Yeah, so, let's see if it's raining. Oh, it's not, it's a clear day. Oh, what a shame. I was going to one of these days, I'm going to go hiking up the mountain with one of my neighbours. I'm going to get, we've got this range right up just over there, and it's like right next to our house. And I want to go and kind of get a photo up there, because I think it'll be a really nice photo of of our town. But before I can go up there and take that photo, it's actually on a person's property, so I actually need to go and have a talk to them first. So yeah, and also learned a little bit of interesting information about this local area and what that mountain range has slated for it in the future. So yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna do this. It's new. I'm just gonna kind of. I'm gonna go match. What I'm gonna do here is like I'm just trying to understand why it's only returning a singular match. Like, could be because it's I still don't know. So there's two groups. Oops, I've got to go match again, and then it's going to go B. I'm going to not break the precedents now. So if we go B, we can see groups. Interesting. Well, that ain't fun. Why does it work? It works perfectly fine, I think. See, it works perfectly fine here. It's match 1, match 2. I'm wondering. Let's do something. I'm going to do a select string pattern, and then what I'm going to do is just paste that in. Waiting for thingy to get back to me, the console. Just gonna move that down like that so you guys can kind of see a little bit more. So and then I'm gonna do pattern, and then I'm just gonna go all matches. Okie dokie. So what are you exactly trying to do? So what I'm trying to do at the moment is I've got a this string here, which essentially I want to replace. Now, this string essentially contains essentially what I'm wanting to do is get these values. So essentially environment, node name, and kind of I need that information to do some interpolation with later down the line. So I kind of want to creating a property to kind of do that. The thing is, so if you jump in here, you can paste it in there like within a regex. So you can see that I've got my test here. It looks like it's working. Maybe I'm not doing something with the grouping. That's what I'm thinking, is this is something to do with the grouping. So and then once I can do that, then that information can be essentially used later down the stream. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm working on at the moment. I kind of want to get this done and knocked out of the way. Yeah, it's one of those things that I'm not entirely sure why it's not doing that. Just capture everything in close, match everything in close. Okay. My first dive into select string plus regex in PowerShell was a bit frustrating. Yeah, I kind of don't really use it. Like I use it, but I don't really use it. It's kind of one of those things that, yeah, it's, yeah. Oh, maybe I'll just give it a named capturing group. This is interesting. Capturing group can be referred to a given name as instead of a number, alternative notation. Okay, so well, let's just give it a capturing group. So we can just say name. At the moment. Group name. By the way, why not use a double backslash to capture the slash instead of trying to use a dot? I could. The only reason why I want to use a dot is because yeah, you're right. No, you're right. It needs to be a double backslash. Because essentially if I'm not doing that, so if I do that, it captures the first one, but not the second one. So if I do that, and then I can get rid of, oh crap, hang on a sec. It has to actually, if I can do a plus, I don't know. Hi Spooky Coder. /W doesn't include the square, the parentheses. Yeah, that's right. I was like, oh, can I take a shortcut here? So that's why I'm kind of, I can probably, I don't, like, I could statically define it. I really don't want to. Matches the character, yeah. So then it would have to match that, then match that, match that. But I don't like that. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. Just thinking now. Still haven't solved the PowerShell problem. We're just trying to make our regex a little bit easier. So I'm thinking you could, like, I can statically define it, but I could do this. What's it? What is it? What is it? I don't know if you. I don't think this is. I don't know if this is the right way of doing it. Essentially, I can do a. What's it? What's it? What's it? What's it? What's it? I just can't think of it at the moment. What's it? Exactly 3 of R. Okay, I could do this. I could say, okay. All right. I think I figured. I think I might have. Can make this a little easier. So you can essentially say, no. Where's the square brace? What's a square brace? I know that you can do. Okay. What we can do, we can essentially just give it a range. So what we can do. I don't think this is right. Like, I think this is not going in the right way. Yeah, matches that character. Matches that character. Hey, Mudclaps. I don't know. I don't know how you followed me either. What is going on here? I think what am I going to do? We'll kind of go back to what we did before. But the thing is, that still doesn't fix anything, because essentially what's happening is that we still have, like, if we chuck that into PowerShell, you can see here it's actually not correctly matching it. Why not find the literal match for var prop and not the expression that it'll evaluate into? What do you mean by that? Do you know? No, I don't know again. I don't. What do you mean by the literal match? Is it Do you think I no, I know what you mean. So this has to be pre-parsed. It's pre-parsed. It's not evaluated yet. So I have to pre-parse it because post. Yeah, it's a chicken and the egg scenario with within Datum, is that essentially I have to pre-parse the logic, because if I already evaluate it, it ain't like, it's not going to. I could technically do it, but it's just going to take forever to do. So, yeah. So the idea is I'll just kind of just pre-parse it myself, and then it makes it a lot quicker. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. So, if we... Or maybe range does the trick then. A range could work. I'm just thinking though. Actually, let's just try something. Let's see what happens. That's cool. So, it technically works. It's just the wrong way around. So, that means, actually, it is working. It's just doing the wrong way. So, maybe we're looking for the wrong thing. No, well, technically it's got node. So it should replace. It should actually just replace. It should just return. So if when we're parsing it, we should just get environment and node name, and that's it. Like we shouldn't get. We're kind of removing all the object metadata from it. Yeah, that's all we're wanting to do. And then basically I can kind of like make it fancy, but the idea is then we can kind of do a bit of interpolation where essentially I kind of just want to, I can inject stuff into it. So I think, maybe. Okay, what's object? Oh, group object, node dot. Okay, so... So it's matching that, so match that. Give me a sec. Okay, what have we got here? If you want to find, you want the property name and you know, just find the word, all the word characters before it. That's exactly right. That's why I'm kind of like, I can just shove it in a capture group and then I can just use that capture group in the replace. So technically I don't need a capture group here. I just need a capture group here. Now, replace, PowerShell, capture group. I think Joey actually had, was it Joey or was it Joel? Know that you can do it in here. Yeah, I replace insensitive. Yep, the signs of the replacement groups that have been escaped. Okay, cool. All right, so that, that with Whoa. Hold the phone. Hang on a sec. So that's interpolating items into it. Just thinking now. I'm thinking now. Well, hang on a sec. What happens if I just get rid of this? That's a very fancy way to just write a static, like, statement. The thing is that I kind of want to clean the entire thing. I actually want to clean it up here as well. Try this. Alright. Oh, look at that. That's brilliant. That is really good. Thank you. So that's essentially matches any word character equivalent to A to Z, look ahead with the character that. So essentially it has to have a slide. Oh, why don't I match this one? I'm just wondering whether... Let's quickly... The thing is, if I actually use a replace on it, so if I say replace that with that, it places the wrong thing. I wonder if I can invert it. How can I say that's the stuff? Oh no, because it'll replace the path as well. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna, like, for the moment, because I'd be honest, I kind of want to push forward. I think what I want to do here, make that null, and then I can kind of just do a regex. No, it kind of needs to be replaced. It's essentially needs to be the inverse of that. We need to see. Essentially, we don't want to see that. We want to replace that and that. Like, we can get the names out, but the thing is that we actually wanting to remove it. So if we were to remove it, we still need to write a regex string to be able to actually find these items to remove. And then be able to associate them as well. Yeah, no, that's okay. That was a really good effort, though. You did better than I have. So I've gotten that. Word character. What's a positive? Well, how about I do a positive look ahead? Slash foo equals bar. Then I could do a positive look ahead. Say, actually, no, you've actually given me half the code. We can actually use that to match the item with a positive look ahead, and then we can then match the the item. Now we need to make sure that that's not in a group. And that needs to be in a capture group too. This. So that logic can't be in a group. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that like that. Equals. I'm wondering whether we can then go, because it has to be a word. So we could just say, is that a word? Why is that not working now? So we've got it's probably because it needs to be part of that. I think I'm getting this now. I'm just going to get rid of that. So that matches that, gets the word to the dot, and then we do a look ahead. Go and get any word, and that's in a look ahead. So I'm just going to kind of gut this a bit. Just going to kind of copy and paste that there so I can kind of gut this. Yes, so that returns that first item, and then essentially successfully updated Docker desktop after trying for 5 hours. What a riot. What was broken with it? It's usually, oh, is it probably like, is it internet? Is it your internet connection? Oh geez, I got something new. I think we're definitely on the right path. So we can do a positive look ahead. Do I need that? No, and then I could potentially say the parentheses? Why is it not matching the parentheses? It's doing a positive look ahead, so it should match. What's wrong with my positive look ahead? Because that essentially should match any word all the way up to there. So essentially it should get that. And then from that, I should be able to literally just say, insert the character can be matched here without consuming characters. Yes. So that should be fine. Why is it not liking that? Okay. It's a hot mess. Oh, mate, it looks awesome. Let's see what happens. I think you'd want to look for the second capture group. That is it. That's true. So what I'm thinking. Matches is real, like, yeah. Let me just drop it in a regex tester, a regex evaluation. It's interesting how you replace the whole capture string with the captured group. But the thing is that this is really interesting. Is that the regex evaluation, like it's yeah. After deleting old Docker directories in various locations, removing WSL containers, removing registry edges, and Windows features are activated like WSL, virtual machine, and the list. The PowerShell, yep, was empty. I restarted the Windows module installation so it didn't work. Apparently Docker checks for these features and crashed because it got an empty list. Oh god. Oh god. That sounds like an absolute gem. I think at that point in time you're just like, is it easy to reinstall Windows? Like, I've documented, I've got my install of Windows and all my applications and everything down to like a packaging. So you just like app package everything in. Oh god. That's a pain in the backside. See, yeah, it's still not correctly matching it. So it's using a positive look behind. Match a single character present. So it's getting that. Matches the previous token between 1 and a limited times. Can I... So this... Okay, so that's matching all those items as many times as it wants. Then it's matching those specific characters and that. So what if I just do this? No. It began with a simple click in Docker desktop update and then resulted in a lifetime of pain. Oh mate, that's terrible. Yeah, I just don't know. Like, the more I kind of go down the garden path, I guess for your string, maybe replace it with like string. Okay, yeah, let's try that. Let's try that. Hey! Go, John. Well done. Well done. Hey, you, sir. That is a chicken dinner moment right there. I didn't think you could do that. I thought, like, for some reason, I don't know why, I thought you couldn't do that. But that's really cool. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Now I'm just trying to make sure that I haven't broken it. Yeah, it's this one here. Okay, cool. So what we can do now is we can go and grab the item path. We can do a big old regex replace on it. My daughter is up and at it. What is going on here? Why is it not happy? It is not a happy chappy. Hash literal is incomplete. I'm just going to wrap it in parentheses. There we go. All right, let's run it. So what we're going to do is rerun that, and let's see what it does. It's either going to, we're going to probably find some issues, but that's okay. So what we can do is jump back in our untitled, and we're just going to resolve that Datum config. Thank you so much, Mr. Myrtle. So what we're going to do is get through that. Wait for VS Code to get back to me because, yeah, OG's intelligent spaghetti. Oh, it's on, mate. It is on. Okay, so if there is. So what was our property? Item script path. Baselines. So if we go I could fix that up. That's fine. Okay, cool. All right, perfect. Okay, thank you. Now, we don't actually need the escape. We can just use a literal, and then all I need to do is that. And the reason why I'm kind of adding percentiles in there is that's because it's my amazing interpolation parameter. Yeah, parameter. Call it that. Okay, cool. So if we rerun that, we go datum configuration. I'm gonna just scroll off. Just go to 0. There we go. Perfect. All right, cool. So now we've got the content. So what we can do now is we've got the item script path. What I can probably do now. Ooh. Yeah, no, okay, cool. All right, so now what we can do is if we go back, we can kind of close that down. Jump. That's so cool. Thank you, John. I really appreciate it. That's saved me so much of a headache. So what we can do here is, let's quickly. So now we've got that content. We've got the formatted datum config. So that's. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out where it is. Formatted datum config. So we can just go to the datum config. So if we go to, where is our datum config? There it is. I'm actually going to bring that out. The reason why is because we actually need that. So what we're going to do is go and get that again. We're going to now interpolate the node file path. So where it's actually going to create the YAML file. So, and that's where it's creating it in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go template file. And then we're going to go. First thing we're going to need to do is actually. So we're just going to go node file path, datum configuration / where object. We're going to say top level parent is equal to all nodes. So that's our top level item. I'm just going to kind of test that, make sure that's working. Doesn't work. It's because I put toy. I feel like I'm at the point where I understand PS regex really well at the micro level, but I have no idea how to approach it at large scale projects and modules like this. Oh, you'll get there. I'm the complete opposite. I'm like, I need to kind of spend more time in regex. I've got a micro understanding of regex to get things done, but I don't fully understand it through and through. So, yeah. Okay, so the top level path is all nodes. We've got multiple there. So what we need to do... I'm just thinking, how am I going to get that info? Because essentially, I need to get this value. I can use the depth. Okay. So what I can do is say, get that, and then I can just go sort object, based on depth. Funding, like so, and then I can kind of get the first item in that, which is the lowest level item. So they're the items that actually have files attached to them. I could actually have just gotten values. I'm going to do that. That's a better way to do it. So what I'm going to do is just say, and values null is not equal to values. Just kind of simplify this logic like so. And then from that, what we can do is we got our item. Okay, perfect. So then what we can do here is once we've got our node file path, we need to essentially match the item script path items. So what we have here is we've got the environment and node name. So just thinking out loud, thinking out loud, thinking out loud. Having a thought. Okay, actually, we don't need to do that. We just need to do this. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. What do I need to do? Where's that template from? You guys are probably going to see what I mean in a few seconds. So all I need to do that is then all I actually need to do is, so now I've got the node file path that's technically interpolating into the template. I'm just going to kind of structure this a little bit easier, make it easier to read. All I need to do is go back up here and go resolve datum info. I don't need to do that. I just need to do that. And now I need to test it to make sure that it's still working the way it should. So I'm just going to read the datum config. Just get to the first item. Ew. Okay. What am I gonna do? The problem is escaping at the moment. Is that essentially I have an escape issue where putting. I'm just thinking this. It's essentially what's happening is that it's putting I'm trying to figure out how to do this in a way that it's not going to break. I can do it later down the line. Like I just want to kind of do it in here without having to actually, like you kind of want to do it in the initiation rather than kind of post. I don't know if this is going to fix it, but we'll have a look. Nope, didn't fix it. Okay, so that means I can't need to do this. See if that works. Nope. Okay, it's the same issue. I was looking at something else. What are you trying to do now? So essentially I'm doing the string replace, but I actually need to install I actually do need to have $1 in front of it. So it's because I'm actually creating a variable. So I'm kind of trying to think of a way to do that. The problem is that we're already referencing a capture group. So it's kind of Makes it a little tricky. Because it's constructing the string and then it's performing the replace. I'm trying to want to do that after the fact. So I'm kind of trying to think of a way I can get around that without having to write some complex engineering. Another solution, like I don't want to have to do this. I want to kind of be able to wrap it in the string, but I don't think I can because it's being processed. I think what I'm going to have to do is thinking of something along the lines. So I can essentially do that still, but then essentially what I can do is put a percentile there. And then down here for each item and items is var continue. I can kind of just say item dot item script bar. No, I don't. I don't need to do that. That's what I can do. Because it's already there, I can just do this. I can do a double replace. I can do a literal replace here because I'm just looking for a static character. So that should do it. It doesn't. And I think I've broken it. How the hell did I break it? Oh, wait, let me rerun that. Okay. Yes, that works. Perfect. So what do I need to do is that. Yeah. The problem is that it's there we go. The problem is that it essentially this, because we're referencing a group within regex within the string. You can't add a double dollar because the dollar is actually being interpreted as not a PowerShell variable but as a capture group. So you can't actually do it natively in the string, because any sort of formatting or anything that you apply or any escaping doesn't apply because it's a literal string. Like essentially it'll it break. Like if you add a double dollar there, essentially it's a double capture group. So I think the way that you kind of have to do it is you have to do it after the fact, which is just a simple string, just a character replace. That's my logic behind it. I think that could be wrong, but I think, yeah, for the moment, that is what I need to do. So the thing is now, if I kind of jump back into here and I kind of just run this code here. Okay, we're going to just kind of run this code here. Okay, we're just going to run, why is that not working? Oh God. Yeah, I'm like 30% following. So, so if you've got a, wait for this to kind of, what the dealio is going on here? I'm just going to restart everything. And then reinitialize. So what I need, all I wanted to do is actually add a dollar into the string. The reason why is because that is going to be the associated variable in the template file. When it creates the template file, that's basically going to be the variable that will be interpolated in the parameter, which is giving it's the location to where it's going to write the actual Datum configuration file. That file path needs to have variables into it, which means you need to have dollar signs, obviously, you know, explaining that it's a variable. The problem is that because you can't natively inject that dollar sign into the replace string because it's being referenced as a capture group in that sense. So you have to basically add the dollar sign after the fact, and the only way you can do that is to add a character that regex doesn't interpret. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So something like, no, because it's still being interpreted. The dollar sign is still being interpreted as a capture group. Because the escaping, and the thing is the escaping is escaping the string, but it's not escaping the regex evaluation. So the way, like, yeah, essentially it's still, so what the way that PowerShell would evaluate that when it does the final string replace is that. So it means that at the even if you're escaping it, it's just basically like, okay, yeah, we're gonna treat it as that. So that's the same as basically saying that it's a literal string. Like, it's just, you're basically escaping it, the dollars. Yeah. So essentially my solution was to have a dollar like so, because the percentage is not being used by anything, and then after that the regex replace has completed, then I can do a static, I can call the method unrecognized command. Jeez, just trying to like write something in here. It's like, this is a command. I'm like, okay, I didn't even know that. So that's really, yeah, kind of how it hangs together. Now let's see if this actually runs. Okay, that works. Cool. Actually, well, that doesn't tell me anything, actually. I need to kind of rerun set. I could be wrong, but that's from what I understand. That's how it's kind of working. It's just basically the operation, essentially the precedence that's being run. Okay, cool. All right, sweet. Okay, so I just want to check to make sure that these are being set correctly. Oh, come on. So slow. This is my problem with VS Code now, is if I basically do that. What the bloody hell is going on? Oh. I've got to fix this up. That's why it's not working. Oh god. Datum configuration, data module. So we might as well fix this up anyway. So we need the configuration file and the configuration path. So that and that. Okay, cool. So that should be fixed now. So if I rerun that, data configuration path. Oh, come on, mate. In PowerShell 5.1 for me. Yeah, all right. That's all right. That's all right. What the? Like, this drives me nuts. I have to fix VS Code. For some reason, like, my console just takes forever to work. So if I copy and paste something in, it just takes like 5 seconds to execute. Here it is. Yeah, it's very frustrating. It's just started recent happening too. So, okay, cool. All right, so that's now working. I'm just going to F8 that. That's the datum configuration. I'll just go down to the first one. There you go. Sweet. So it's basically added those items in there. Let's go ahead and format it. God's sake, I've got to fix my global variables at the moment. They're kind of broken. Node template. So that's ScriptRunner dot node template file. Okay, cool. So that's now got the parameters, which is great. So we can paste that in there. So now we've got our formatted datum config, which we don't need a GUID. Yes, I know. I need to write a mission module deploy script, which is already done. So what we need to do now is convert that to PowerShell parameters. And now it's making a liar out of me. Get content because the literal path is not right. Gosh. Let's see paths up. So now we've got our template file. We can start interpolating items into that. So now the template file has the parameters interpolated into it. Well, it should have the parameters interpolated into it. Why is it the node template file is pointing to? Oh no, that's not the virtual machine template file. Script templates dot new VM template. That's what I want. Whoops. So now if I do a template file, we can see, okay, so the parameters are basically being interpolated into the script. Now we're going to do node file path. So what we can do here is just need to do a file replace with that. However, there's a little bit more that needs to be done with that. And what we need to do is say, just kind of going to just quickly add one of these. YAML, like so. So essentially what it will do, we just not we get that and then run that. We should have a YAML file. Okay, so what we need to do is go on to the script path. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is we need to replace on the template file that with that, that with that, because we actually want those expressions to evaluate. So once we've done that, we need to reread the template file. So let's go ahead and reload that, like so. Do initial replace, and then what I'm going to do is just check it again and make sure that that's working. Yep, so essentially what it's going to do, you can see here we've got environment node name.yaml, and then in here you got node name and environment as parameters. And that's how it works. So essentially it will dynamically build that because we've grabbed the resolution precedence and we've grabbed the template file, we've squished them together, and then basically we're going to always have the parameters that we need to be able to create this file, to be able to run this file. So the next thing we need to do is get the template configuration path. That is some big brain stuff. Thanks, mate. I wouldn't say it's big brain, I just kind of say it's fluke. ugh. And then from that, what we can do is we can go and get then we just interpolate the template. And so it's the same kind of thing, right? Basically, we just need to grab template file. Yeah, we've got output file path, cool. And what we can say is go new virtual template. We just need to grab the template configuration. And then all we need to do here is we can just go global scriptrunner.node template file. So if we do that, we should get our template file, which is there. So it'll interpolate the node template file. Okay, cool. And so that's essentially it, like for this script. So once it's done that, template file essentially then can be written to our output path. Our file path, and so essentially it will write it'll write the template. It'll write at the template file to the designated output path file, creating a new template file. And that is how it kind of hangs it all together. It's like 51 lines of code, but to get it to that line, it's just ridiculous. And now that means that the template is done. So all we need to do now is to get this working. So we've got the template configuration path. And so what it can do now is that because it's got the template configuration path and we have this get node template config parameters, which is this function here, which is, where's that? This one here, just kind of dump it out. It actually gives us all the information we need to now actually to interpolate the rest of the variables into it. So we've got role, location, node name, IP address, gateway. So anything in here that basically needs to be interpolated. So you got like that, everything else that basically can stay as is, it will then just do it. And because we're basically, like for instance, the environment's basically representative of the file structure. We don't need to do that. It's just basically calculated natively in Datum. So it's kind of this merging of two separate settings where the file structure is essentially the setting and then basically the information there. But they all correspond to basically parameters that have been interpolated added to the script, whether that's basically automatically been picked up through the resolution precedence. And if it has resolution precedence and it's basically then overrides, it will essentially overrides what a static set is. So, but if there's no resolution precedence, it basically will treat it as a static entry, which basically means that there's no validate set within the parameter set. There's no validate parameter within the validate parameter attribute, which means it can be whatever you want it to be, because that's how it can be. Now you can kind of tweak that later, but the idea is that that's the kind of the baseline logic. So and then the idea here is that you can then just iterate through each of those configuration items, and then using the index number values from the template, you can then just basically do a lookup for the variable, which again, is going to be automatically defined in the parameter block, and then basically write the file, and it should actually give us a file path. So we should. Let's test this now. So let's generate a script. It needs the module. That's the one thing. It needs the ScriptRunner module. This thing needs the ScriptRunner module. Technically, it doesn't exist at the moment. So what I'm gonna do is load it manually to kind of simulate this whole logic process. And we will see how we go. This is actually going to be really exciting because if this works, we're going to plug this. I'm going to turn on the ScriptRunner server. We're going to plug it in, and we're going to see what happens. It might require a little bit of tweaking, but I think this is going to actually be really interesting. So the idea here then is that now what I can do is let's run the script. So I'm just going to reload that. And then we're going to call publish SR action script. So publish ScriptRunner action script. So this basically dynamically, so this will be a scheduled task in ScriptRunner that dynamically creates the new VM script. So the idea here is if we just go, is there a temp directory? I'm just gonna make sure there's a temp directory. Taskbar / temp. Yeah, cool. All right. So what we can do here is if we go publish SR action script, and then we can go output file path, and we can just say SR action.ps1. I'd actually put a temp directory. That should create a temp directory. So if we go and have a look at that file, we then have our parameters. We've got our items interpolated into this. Okay, so now what we can do is go that's right. No worries, mate. Take your time. If we go C temp, and then if we go SR action.ps1 could node name, and we can basically say, let's give this server, we just go server 01, and then we're going to give it an IP address. I'm just going to go 192.168.0.1. Then we give it a gateway of just 192.168.0.1. Then I'm going to give it an environment of, is there a, there should be, okay, we'll give it an environment of prod. I'm going to give it a location of Frankfurt. I'm going to give it a role of a domain controller, a baseline of desktop, and verbose. No. And so now, if we run that, we could not find part of the path C nodes prod. C all nodes prod. Ooh, we made a big boo. We got to basically inject the thing there. So what we're going to do is, I'm just going to statically change this for the moment, so we can kind of get this working. Oops, cancel that. Do that. Okay, so that now should have injected a file into our datum structure in prod called server1. And then it should have automatically interpolated the variables with the exception to DNS server. So that's a problem with our regex, is that it's having issues with that. So we're going to need to fix that, because that's actually an array and it's having issues finding it. But that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. To see that actually work is really, really cool. Okay, so what we need to now quickly do is we need to fix the file structure here. So we actually need to give it the full file name. So, I'm just going to go 1/ should I just do it this way? So we can go 0/1, and then what we can do here is we can just basically get the ScriptRunner configuration path, because we know that. So we can just go global ScriptRunner / Datum module / we want the configuration path, like so. Then the configuration path goes in there, which will be used to essentially create that full file path. Now, the one bug we did find was that the server.ps or YAML file didn't see this SR DNS server SR param. That is a bug with format datum configuration. Where what it's, oh, is it for datum? Is it resolve datum? I don't know, what is it? Get no template. So essentially what it's doing, it's looking for do this. So it's looking for like a value there, and then that it could potentially need to have a separate line. I think I'm going to need to rewrite it. I think I need to parse it to then go and find the values, which is not great because I kind of need it's a lot faster if I'm statically doing it. Interesting. Why is it not playing ball? I'm just now going to think about this for a sec. How can I make this work? I'm thinking what I can possibly do is get I could basically do a an initial lookup, go grab all that, and then basically do a lookup for items that don't have, essentially have a corresponding item there, but don't have a name there, and then basically flip back on and keep flipping back on the within the YAML file to then find the corresponding property that goes with it, and then basically you know, having that as the index item, and then kind of, yeah, I think that might be the way that we kind of need to do it. So what we need to do is, we got that working, which is really great. That's working. That's, don't necessarily need that yet. Resolve datum. Okay, so what we need to do is get no template config parameters. So how is this working? So it's going through. Okay, so look at get no template, because yeah, it's not going to be able to match it. It's basically getting what I'm going to do... Oh, back to regex land, aren't we? We all always come back to it. We can go and grab the template. Where's the template file? No template configuration. Here we go. So we've got the no template config. And we've got the config. I'm just thinking about this. So just thinking about this because it makes it really easy when you can just grab the data, get the index values, and then go and replace it because you can identify them. Like, so if I really get rid of that, you can see that that doesn't work. Why doesn't that work? .NET. Ah, because I've got... Okay, now it's matching. Okay, so that matches all those items. So what we need to do is update this, or we need to say that, and then we need to get that. YAML. Okay, if it's an array, well, why don't I just say and I can say that. So it gets that, the space, so that's the spaces. So what we can basically say is these spaces for that. So I can fetch that, but it needs to get the previous value, which is the DNS server, and we need to get that name. Look behind. So maybe I could do a look behind to then go and get I can rewrite this whole thing. Now I'm intrigued. Can I rewrite this whole thing? So what I'm thinking, I could just use a look behind from the percentage and get the text. I think I might be able to write a better regex string here. So I'm going to well, I don't necessarily. I can just start writing from scratch here. So what I'm thinking is going slash that user look behind, and then basically say that as greedy as you want. Okay, sure, the given pattern match the current positioning expressions. The pattern does not consume any characters. Bar. Yeah, no. Do this. Okay. All right. So just gonna leave that for the moment, and then I'm gonna go and grab the template. I'm gonna kind of start mucking around with this. So if we basically say equals that, and then space, well, let's space 24. Okay, so that matches that. So that matches that, and then we need to get so if we say and then we can say what was the logic for that? Get no template config prime, so we could just grab that, paste that there. That's it. If it won't match. Seems to be greedy. And then we need to look behind and so we can see the item, and then we can capture that. I'm just going to go node name for the moment. So we've gotten that. That should be multi-line. Why is it not multi-line? Is it multi-line? Okay, so we've gotten that. And then we need to do a look behind. I need to quickly jump onto regex. Look behind multiple lines. That's what we need to do. You can try adding new lines to the look ahead back. No worries. Thanks, John. So we got it working, mate. I'll quickly show you. So, whoops. So what we can do here. Oh yeah, it's another regex problem. So we've got sraction.ps1. So if you actually have a look at this file, so yeah, here it is here. So we've generated it. So what we can, I'll quickly jump to the drive, and then I'll quickly go back here. So we can actually go publish sraction script, and that will generate this file here. Actually, let's just create a new one. So we can actually go ahead and open that file now in C10. And here you can see it now has the script, and you can see all the interpolated items. So if we actually run this now, so if we go, let's quickly jump to C drive. Where is it? Like so. So essentially, I'll just quickly put a 1 on the end there. Could not find part of the path. Oh god. What's broken now? Oh god, I didn't fix it. I did fix it actually. I just didn't rerun the code. So one sec. Run that and then rejig this. And then oh, what's it? I've broken it now, haven't I? Yeah, it's appended it. So what I'm going to do is just rerun it again. Still not perfect. If we go here, oh god, what's it doing now? Progress is progress. Yes, it is. It's not playing ball, so I'm just going to have to figure that out. But that's okay. So I'm just going to say publish again. Make sure that it's there this time. Let me just quickly go to C10. Yes, cool. So now if we go open that file. What do we got? That. Yep. Okay, let's pull the full path there. So now if we execute this, could not find part of the path. Oh, what's it doing? Oh, what's it doing here? I'm just going to hack it for the moment. I can fix that later. So essentially it just needs to go to the source directory. For some reason it's not doing that. That's okay, we can fix that. So like so if we rerun it, it creates the file, and there it is. So it actually creates the Datum file. So now that when Datum kicks off, it'll actually process it. There's one problem, and you can see it here, is if I have, so the way that the YAML file is being passed is it's actually just statically being passed through text. The reason why I did it that way is it just makes it a little easier to kind of find things. I don't know now. I really don't know. I think I'm going to have to replace the code. The reason is because it's able to match things like this, but it can't match things like this because of the regex. So I actually think I'm going to have to write a recursive property search. So you specify a property But the problem is that it's essentially like, for instance, you know, an array. Like you've kind of got to go search through on arrays and then find the right exact item within that array, which makes it reason why I was like, well, we can just pass it statically and then you can just get the index item based off that. Doesn't really help though with arrays because still you're going to have multiple DNS servers and it's going to get confused. So that needs to be looked at. I'm going to figure out a way to kind of to deal with that at the moment. Yeah, it's technically valid. Like that can be passed. Like I can actually import it. But the thing is, the problem is that if you've got multiple DNS servers, how's it going to handle that? And that's actually another thing is that technically speaking, that'll be a singular parameter. So technically speaking, you could only set one DNS server. So there are some bugs in that. I'm already looking at it from a design kind of point of view. Don't know how I'm going to sort that out yet, but for the moment, I'm not. I just want to kind of get this demo working. So what I'm thinking is, maybe. I think what I could possibly do is if it's an array and there's multiple items in that array, essentially what it does, it just kind of creates a 1 on the end of the property. So it's like DNS server 1. And then what it can do is that it just uses that 1 as a means to identify the location within the array. So it kind of becomes a little bit like metadata that's stored on the actual in the parameter itself, and then you can iterate through and do it that way. That's what I'm thinking. It makes sense if I kind of go down that path anyway. So if that's the case, I can't use get no template configuration parameters. Kind of sucks. I'm gonna have to actually write a file. So essentially, it's gonna need to be able to actually get the file and parse it. So let's go and have a look at this structure and see if we can figure out how we're gonna do this. Get content, template files path, we can just kind of do that. Convert from YAML. Okay, so, whoops. What's its folder structure? Oh, what's its direct? Oh, it's type. It's hash tables. Well, if they're hash tables, I could probably write a recursive index search. It just needs to be able to ascertain whether it's an array or not. So for instance, if let's say network IP information, slash interfaces. So I think interface is an array. How do we know that if it's an array? We can see it's a list. So maybe if it's the type is a list, then we can kind of figure that out, and then it basically needs to dynamically parse it. But if we go add DNS servers, so that new line dash variable stuff is valid as a single value. Yeah, that's because it's an array. That's an array. So because you can have multiple DNS servers, you can have multiple network interfaces as well. So the idea is that, like, yeah, I didn't want to have to write this, but I'm going to have to probably write this. I'm going to have to write a map to kind of figure out how to do this. Yeah, that's going to be the next challenge. But I'm just looking at the time. It's 8:55. I'm pretty much done for this stream. But it's a very productive stream. We've gotten the content generated. That's the biggest thing. This isn't going to be another little thing that we're going to need, like a niggling bug that I can kind of sort out throughout the week. But the main thing, which is really, really exciting. Oh, no worries. Thanks, John. The main thing is that we've gotten the action file to dynamically generate. It's capable of interpolating those items in. I'm going to have to write some logic, refactor this logic, because we're going to need to essentially look at the parameter name. If it has a number on the end, there needs to be some logic there. So essentially, if there's a number on the end of the parameter, because we're dynamically generating parameters, if there's a number on the end of the parameter, I'm just kind of gonna think this logic through. If there's a number on the end of the parameter, it doesn't immediately assume that it's within an array, because you could basically have someone who decides that, hey, I'm going to put ones on the end of all my datum configuration. Don't know why, but you could. So what it just means is that it attempts to perform a lookup. So I need to write a lookup tool as well as a parsing tool. So it'll attempt to perform a lookup to test to see if the value is within an array, which we could, so the lookup tool, I'm just kind of thinking out loud. So the lookup tool can kind of go through, find or attempt to find the literal property, so, you know, /1, or the actual like, so, yeah. So, okay. So what it could do is that it could do two things. It can attempt to, it splits the numeral off the end and uses that as an array index item. It then basically goes and finds that specific name within the configuration. So it goes and iterates through the configuration and looks for that specific name. If it finds the name, if it can't find the name, so X, Y, and Z with that 1, that means that basically there's it's literal and it's not relative. So therefore, then it will go and basically do a literal lookup, a recursive literal lookup for that exact one, for that exact name. And then that would then determine whether it would work or not. With the relative lookup, it would then go and find where those properties exist within an array structure, and then within that, the thing is that that's basically assuming that there's a property associated with that. Like the problem with DNS servers, for instance, like with interfaces that works, but with DNS servers you have, it's just a static array. So the lookup process would have to go through the YAML file, and a relative lookup would need to cater for actual arrays as well as objects. Then what happens if it's nested in 2 arrays? How is it going to handle that? That's very, very interesting. I wonder if I can set tags or something on there. The parameter. Or what I can do, just thinking out loud here, is not it's still put a 1, 2, 3 on the end, but that doesn't mean anything in terms like 1, 2, 3 on the parameter name on the end. And then what I could actually do is insert a comment above that parameter in the script, so it doesn't actually get passed, but we can actually use that information so it actually passes like metadata about the location of where it is in the YAML structure. So if it finds the parameter X, Y, and Z there, it can then essentially extrapolate the index structure to be able to go and get it. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. I'm definitely going to have a sleep on this one, because the thing that I'm thinking about is that the index value essentially, like if you're searching a nested structure for a property, so for instance like or value, say like DNS, like so the lookup tool actually kind of needs to do a thing before that. What it does, it looks at the YAML structure and goes and gets all the properties that basically contain those items, and then the corresponding structure that goes with it. So for instance, you could say, if I'm just kind of now spitballing, is that if you've got interfaces / DNS, so like for instance, DNS server, huh. Yeah, me too, John. All right, mate. Have a good weekend. Have a good afternoon. Have a good night, mate. And yeah, thanks for joining. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I'm going to need to take this one offline and think about it. This is started getting very convoluted at the moment, so I want to make sure that I can kind of get a good grasp on it. And then from that, we can kind of go from there. So anyway, guys, have a good day. Have a good night. And yep, bye for now.